played a lot of footy. He was about to win a grand final in 2018. He was injured with a shoulder in the preliminary final or the second semi-final in the lead up to the grand final. Couldn't play grand final day, and he had to wait till last year to get his first ever premiership as a senior player. So well done to Aaron. Of course, Aaron has coached with success. He coached for Dongra and won a grand final with Dongra in the North Midlands Football League, but in the Great Northern Footy League. He also coached here at Rovers for a period, played at Rovers, but returned to Brigades. So the bulk of his senior footy has been at Brigades, and it's good to see him play 200 games. It's very, very hard for players to play that many games these days, and it's a great credit to him and his family for making it happen. So we wish Aaron all the best in today's big encounter. And as you say, it'll give Brigades, not that they need much enthusiasm to win, they are preparing to be the reigning champions, and they've got to get their way through, but it'll give them added impetus today. But Chapman Valley, they've been taking all before them, and a big task this afternoon. This is going to be an interesting game. I spoke to Ian Comben before the game, and although I mentioned there were 7 changes today, he still said 6 of them had already played a Colts game, so not an ideal preparation. He's looking forward already to next week, where they'll have 6 players back into the top side, and he'll say his side next week will be close to Rovers' best side for some time, and that'll be in their encounter. And we'll be here again next weekend for that encounter against Brigades. But it's going to be a big test for Railways and Rovers today. Important, Peter, while the weather is still reasonably good, although the wind is out, but the rain isn't. So it's important to try and get the score on the board as quickly as you can, because we're not too sure what time the rain will come through. And if the rain comes through and it's heavy, it'll certainly change the state of play very quickly. Well, you'd
want to win the toss and kick toward the airport end, Glenn, because it's about a 3 to 4 goal
pretty
breeze
handy, isn't it? Yes.
At the moment. So Rovers are now out on the park. Greenock Oval holding up pretty well under the wet conditions we've had over the past week, and most grounds in and around the GNFL looking pretty good. The only one that's a little bit suspect is the grand final venue, Glenn, and that, of course, is the recreation ground.
That's right. So looking forward to good final series this year. And, of course, talk of a night grand final this year, which is an interesting one. So we'll find out more about that, I guess, when we're told. But it's interesting to see.
What a league night grand final.
Yeah. But it'll be naturally
probably
at
on
Towns.
A Wednesday or something.
No, it'll be played at Towns because, but going on the format, the grand final should be at the recreation ground this year. So,
yeah.
But apparently, that is going to be put aside. But
maybe they could do a Colts grand final like that, perhaps.
Yeah. Or maybe the women's grand final. Who knows?
Yes.
So we'll wait and see. Waiting for the umpires to come out and get this game underway. Umpires must be waiting on something, because Rovers and Railways are out and about. Now the game fixtured to start at 1:30, and we're a minute past that at the moment. So it'll be interesting to see the players of both sides are preparing. Railways, they got the job done, Peter. 37 points over Towns. From all reports, it wasn't a great game, but I guess a win's a win. And Rovers, they were pretty good for about a quarter last week, but they just didn't have the run in their legs to keep up with Chapman Valley. And Railways, we expect them to be a pretty fit side. So this is going to be, once again, a pretty big test for Rovers, perhaps.
Yes, certainly, Glenn. I suppose the advantage being at their home ground
is
something that might be in their favour. But they'd want to rebound from last week because their form wasn't too good, but they did have a lot of players out through COVID and other reasons.
Yes, they did.
So hopefully, as you said, Coach Incommon gets more of his players back in incoming weeks, because they hopefully should finish. They should finish in the form, but Chapman Valley might have something else to say about that.
Yeah, they're sitting third at the moment, and they're one game clear of Northampton. Northampton playing Mullawar today. Northampton would be expected to win that game, but last time Northampton played Mullawar, it was the same sort of outcome. Northampton were expected to win, but that game was played at Mullawar, and we all know that Northampton seem to play very good football at their home ground at Northampton, at Percher International Oval. So if Northampton win today, Chapman Valley not perhaps expected to defeat Brigades, but probably need to keep their race for the sections to be in the top 4 into the future. So it's going to be an interesting outcome, and of course we'll be keeping people up to date with scores across the grounds, with thanks to our friends at the City of Greater Geraldton.
Interesting, Glenn, the umpires are gathering around the front of their changing room at the moment. All umpires, boundary, central, and the goal umpires too. So interesting to see why that is, because the game is certainly being held up. Both teams have been out here for quite a while now, so waiting for the game to start. But they seem to be, mingling together for some reason. But presently, or post-game, we may find out what that was all about.
Yes, and big special hello to Justine Rowe, who's enjoying the broadcast this afternoon, sitting at home, enjoying hopefully some rain, Justine, and enjoying the footy, and it's good to hear that you're enjoying our coverage this afternoon, and we hope your boy Tom does okay this afternoon as well, and we'll keep you up to date with that. So it's a very, very nice to have your company, and it's good to have people across the Midwest and the Gascoyne with us.
Interesting today on Sports Chat Saturday, Annette Cooper, one of our panellists, talking about sports fixturing in the Midwest, something that I think all sports need to get together and have a look at.
Well, we've been talking about having a calendar for the sporting bodies for some time, but we have also seen where not only the sports have been impacted, but this year we've seen the shows being impacted, because the day of the second semi-final in the GNFL is the same day as the Chapman Valley show. That is the Mullawar show. The day of the preliminary final is the Chapman Valley show, and the day of the grand final, because the games this year, the finals are played on a Saturday, and so impacts the
it was interesting
Northampton show, and the Northampton have actually changed their show date.
And it was referring to the hockey grand finals being held on a weekend that clashed with football, because a lot of girls that play hockey play football as well. But she also reminded me that there was a time when there was like 3 weekends in a row where you had the netball grand finals, the hockey grand finals the next week, and then the footy grand finals the following week. And I don't know what's happened there.
No, it's all fallen by the wayside. And by playing all the finals on the Saturday, it's impacting on all those sports as well. Because we will also, all things being equal, the Buccaneers will be playing in the finals this year.
That's right.
We'll also have the Dockers playing in the AFL in the final this year. So there's a situation where there's going to be a lot of sport on the Saturdays, and maybe not as much sport on the Sundays, but maybe the other sports will take up the slack and play their finals on the Sundays. But I guess the junior football finals will be played on the Sunday this year, because the seniors are playing on the Saturday. So, it's all very interesting. But, I think sporting bodies, sporting groups, sporting organisations and community groups really need to work alongside each other and make things a little bit easier for each other. So the umpires are coming out now. Umpires Robert Bennett, Theo Bennett and Kevin Osborne in control. So plenty of experience in the umpiring ranks this afternoon for what will be a very interesting game. Round 13 of the Think Mental Health round. So a very important round and a very important message. And we'll bring you that message as the afternoon unravels. But the umpires are about to get the game underway. The players will be well and truly warmed up this afternoon anyway, because they've had an extra 10 minutes to get themselves prepared, and it has been the Rovers Club at the city end of the ground and the Railways Club at the airport end of the ground. So looking forward to a really good contest this afternoon. Both these sides have played a lot of footy in recent years.
Yeah, just if anyone is listening, just reminding people that the Bucks tonight, their game starts at 6 o'clock. It's been moved forward to an earlier time slot. So just if you are thinking of going to the basketball this evening, 6 o'clock, and that's due to some humidity issues that they have with the stadium.
That's right, so that there isn't any injuries and any setbacks, because once the floor gets slippery, of course, gets glassy, it becomes dangerous for the players. So it's important that they've taken the science on board, and they're hoping the rain will come through and the humidity, and by coming forward an hour, they hope to miss those issues. So if you are going to the Bucks, taking on Perry Lakes this weekend. So
they played them last weekend too.
Generally when you think Perry Lakes, you get excited in years gone by, but Perry Lakes probably not as strong as they once were, but still, of course, everyone is pretty formidable on their day, and it'll be a big contest, an opportunity for people to get along and support the Geraldton Buccaneers, who are travelling very well at this stage.
Okay, not far from a start here. We've got both captains coming in for the toss of the coin, and we'll see what happens here. So we can see them moving into the middle now. As I said, Grenfell Oval is looking pretty good considering the rain it's had in recent over the last week, that's for sure. So both captains coming together. And it is Railways who won the toss, and as you'd expect, they have gone for the airport end and have about a 3 to 4 goal breeze in the first term, Glenn.
They have, and certainly, as you say, it'll be good to have the breeze in their back, but important to get the score on the board, because it is going to be a situation where it will be a very important if the rain comes in a little bit later as the day unfolds.
I didn't notice Jesse Adamini because he's got the long sleeves on today, Glenn.
Yes, and Jesse was clearly Railway's best player last week, and Jesse Adamini is the top of our footballer of the year at this moment.
He's got a bit of a buffer there.
Would be a contender, I'd say, for the JJ Clune medal.
For sure.
So it's good to see Jesse Adamini having a good season with the Railways club, but there's also a couple of Rovers players that aren't far behind him on the Radio Mama Footballer of the Year award, and they are Gabriel Parfitt and Chris Scott. So they are close behind him, and so it'll be important to see who gets the votes today. Peter, you're looking after what side today?
I'll look after Rovers,
and I'll look after Railways, so looking forward to this. Ben Saunders, good to see him back on the track for Railways. We did believe Ben has had a bit of an injury concern, but he must have got rid of that and moved on, and it's good to see, because there was talk last week that Ben Saunders' year may be over, but he's trained all week and he's ready to go, and he's well suited to these conditions this afternoon. He'll be looking forward to a pretty tough contest in this big game out here at Grenfell Oval. Good crowd here at Grenfell Oval if you want to see some good football. There's 3 big games on today. There's a game on up at Northampton, with Northampton playing host to Mullawar. A game happening out at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabbour, with Chapman Valley playing host to the Topside Brigades. And this big game here at Grenfell Oval. And the big ruckmen are getting in position, ready to go. Ryan Latesia is the ruckman for the Railways Club. And the young man from the Rovers Club, Blake Tazewell, is going to be doing the rucking for Rovers this afternoon. So Blake didn't play the Colts game today, so looking forward to a big effort from Blake this afternoon in this big contest. Railways are going to the airport end, which is our right-hand side, and we got Rovers going to the left-hand side of the canteen end of the ground as the umpire holds the ball aloft, and we're about to get this first term underway with thanks to Warren Taylor Holmes. Umpire Theo Bennett puts the ball into the air. Latesia has the best of it. Ball comes to ground now. Picked up by Rovers. Player tackled high. Umpire says play on. Joey Ugle gets it out. Looking again for Tazewell. He was held not in possession. Picked up now by Adamini. Adamini grabs the ball in his long sleeve. Takes a bounce. Gets a big kick up towards half forward and finds Blake Bunter. Bunter couldn't mark the ball. Slides in. Ball spills out the back. Picked up now by Messina. Messina kicks the ball towards the forward line, and just in front of the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard here at Greenock, the ball is out of bounds, and there'll be a boundary throw-in in the opening minute of play. Started at a frenetic pace, this game here at Greenock Oval this afternoon. As we mentioned, Warren Taylor Holmes bringing you this particular quarter. Good day to Warren, Janine and all the team. Warren Taylor Holmes, great supporters of local footy. In it comes now. Players setting themselves, knocked down by Latesia, knocks it to ground. Players diving on top of it. Messina gets it for Railways, puts it onto his boot, sends it around to the goal area, and out he comes and takes a mark. I think the mark is paid for cocking. Got it right into the air, almost a vertical leap, but the umpire says he was out of bounds when he took that mark, then I'd say, and the ball's about to be thrown in. A deep attack still for Railways at the Mullawar end, the airport end, and the end to which Railways are kicking. They've got about a 3 to 4 goal breeze at their back. In it comes now, knocked forward by Scott. Goes out wide now, comes the way of Rovers. They can send it down the wing. Player getting into the game early is Tazewell. Liked his performances since the country championships, but comes off hands and spills over the boundary once again. Not far from the Rovers dugout. So the boundary umpire's got to retrieve the ball. So waiting for that to happen. The ball went over the boundary fence, and the ball now being picked up by the young boundary umpire, who'll throw the ball back into play. So we're getting the ruckman again, Tazewell and Letessia for the Blues. Letessia knocks the ball forward, roved there by Adamini. He goes by hand to Parolo. Parolo gets the ball forward and finds Alex Newton. And Alex Newton back into the lineup this afternoon, takes his first mark of the afternoon. And Alex Newton, who's a noted goal scorer, is 35 metres out, directly in front, kicking to the airport end with a breeze, a strong breeze, at his back in this first term. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day, Warren Taylor Holmes first term. Umpire waiting for Newton to shoot on goal. He's giving himself plenty of time. He's gone back a fair way. We've seen that with a number of players in recent weeks. There goes the kick from Newton. Ball fades away to the right-hand side and through for a minor score. And at the 3-minute mark of this first term, on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways are 1 behind, Rovers are yet to score.
Yeah, the ball coming out of defence now. First score on the board to Railways, 1 point. As I've mentioned a couple of times, so too Glenn, that they have about a 3 to 4 goal breeze at their back as the ball comes out of defence now, goes away. Rovers down the wing, finds the chest on this occasion of the player in Joel Bremen Walker. He goes further afield. He's looking for his teammate there in Dwayne Neville. He fists it away and it comes over the boundary right in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mama. So Rovers haven't had in their forward 50 to this point. The breeze is a factor, one would think. In it comes now. Players setting themselves up. They go. It's not knocked down by anyone. In goes the Rovers player on this occasion. Comes forward and Bremen Walker comes off the side of his boot and is out on the full. So the ball will be kicked in again, right in front of our broadcast position.
Aaron Dow is the player with the ball now. Dow puts the yellow ball on his left boot, kicks it forward and finds Shaden Edwards. Shaden Edwards still got those orange boots that he's well known for. There goes Shaden Edwards' kick up towards the forward pocket. Looking up there for Jack Cocking. Ball carries him. Picked up by Delaney. Delaney shoots at goal. That's Owen. Owen gets the ball forward. Owen Delaney, that is. Gets it up towards the forward pocket. Looking there, he finds Joseph Ayaria. Free kick goes the way of Rovers. Rovers get the ball out of defence. And they're trying to work the way along the boundary line on that road side of the ground. And the Horwood Road side of the ground, and eventually the ball goes out of bounds just in front of the windsock, and the windsock showing that the airport end is the end to be kicking this term.
Ball about to be thrown in from the Horwood Road side. Players setting themselves now. Rovers player pushed to ground. That's Tazewell. Nothing in that, says the umpire. Running through the pack though is the Rovers captain, Gabriel Parfitt. He's tackled high. Interesting in the AFL, Glenn. They're taking a lot of notice of tackles at the moment, whether the player is ducking as he's collecting the ball to receive a free kick. The ball going toward the boundary. Kicking into the breeze is an effort for the Demons, and they find the sanctuary of the boundary once again.
Luke Beveridge, the coach of the Western Bulldogs, wasn't too happy that the AFL have stepped in and changed the rules mid-season. He said it's the sort of a thing that should be changed at the end of the year, not changed mid-season. So that's an interesting call from Luke Beveridge, who doesn't mind saying what he thinks, which is good to see. Gets the ball up towards the forward line. Goes the way of Joey Ugle. He joins the handball out, gives it to a teammate. And Rovers have the ball now, but Railways go forward and the handball comes forward. Railways player gets tackled. Umpire said he had no prior opportunity. So there's a fair bit of pressure on. Good bit of play there from the young Railways player in Jesse Adamini. He was tackled. Umpire throws the ball up now, about 40 metres from the goals. Picked up by Adamini, smothered off the boot. Comes to Railways again. Handball comes out. Picked up there by Mitchell Boyle. Boyle with a short left foot pass has picked out Jack Cocking, and the young man has taken a good strong mark. 35 metres out from goal on a 45-degree angle on the Horwood Road side of the ground. So Jack Cocking, who was kept goalless last week, having an opportunity to bring up his first goal of the afternoon. So Jack Cocking shooting on goal. An important kick for Railways. They've had the breeze for 6 minutes. They haven't really made a dent on the scoreboard in too great a manner yet. They only got 1 point to this point. So there goes the kick from Jack Cocking. Looks pretty good off the boot, but fades away once again to the right-hand side. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard here at Greenock Oval, Railways go to 2 behinds. Rovers yet to score.
Yeah, the breeze is certainly blustery, Glenn, and so even though it is favouring that end, you'd have to use it the right way. The ball now in defence for the Demons, and this fella, he certainly knows what to do with it. Bo Simpson got a lot of the ball last week when Rovers was soundly beaten by Chapman Valley at Naboo. He kicks it down just in front of the Rovers dugout where it's fisted away. So early stages of this game, but only 2 points on the board, and that goes away of Railways, kicking with the breeze. The ball on the broadcast side of Greenock Oval, about to be thrown in. The sun is shining again now. Rain earlier this morning. Maybe some rain before the game is out with a northwesterly breeze. That certainly would be on the cards. The ball coming in now, players setting themselves. Up they go. Taswell is best of the two ruckmen. He doesn't get it on the first attempt, docks it down on the second. Goes the way of the Rovers player, is quickly mobbed on by two of his opposite number, brought to ground. The umpire indicates no prior opportunity, and he'll ball it up again.
3 umpires this afternoon. Kevin Osborne is the umpire now. Puts the ball in the air. Ball roved well by Mitchell Boyle. He gets it up towards the half-forward line. But once again, Joey Ugle's trying to do his bit for Rovers in defence. Gets a handball forward. Picked up now by Glenn Prosser. He throws the boot to ball. Gets it up towards the centre of the ground. Railways have an opportunity, or do they? Rovers player goes back in. Rovers in defence, have it on half-back. Ball spills. Letessia's there for Railways. Feeds a handball out. Goes the way of Shaden Edwards. Edwards goes by hand to Newton. Newton goes by hand to Boyle. Boyle shoots on goal from 35 metres, and he too is offline. The ball fading away every occasion. They've had 3 shots on goal, and both of them have gone through the right-hand side. So the breeze pushing that way. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways are 3 behinds and Rovers are yet to score. We played 9 minutes in this first term with thanks to Warren Taylor Holmes on Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.
Mitchell Boyle ready to be a dad any day now, Glenn, as the ball goes toward the boundary once again, being held in the forward 50 well and truly by the breeze in this particular term for Railways. Of course, Glenn, I've told him I think he's going to be the father of a little girl because someone convinced me that footballers only have girls, Glenn.
That's fit athletes, that's why. That's the ball comes
Says
away.
Glenn, he's got 3 of them.
The ball goes, I was never as fit as Mitchell, I don't think. The ball goes the way of the player there in Jesse Adamini. And the ball goes across the ground. Another opportunity there from Newton, but another minus score. So Railways peppering away the points at the moment. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways are 4 behind. Rovers are yet to open their account. So the Rovers defence bringing the ball out, and that is Chris Scott, who was very good again last week in their loss. Chris Scott runs across half-back, kicks it out towards centre wing, and he's picked out a teammate there. That player is Denham Ranger. Ranger centres the ball and finds a fellow teammate there in Joshua Simpson.
Back into the lineup.
Yeah, he was sadly missed last week. Josh Simpson's a class player, as we know. Kicks it towards Dwayne Neville, but the boundary line and the breeze is too much. And there'll be a boundary throw-in in front of the Rovers coaching box and the coaching bench, which is Farron Parfitt, Ian Comben and Craig Walker this afternoon. Boundary umpire to put the ball back into play. Once again, the ruckman will go at it. So no damage on the scoreboard as yet from Railways, but we're not saying it's easy out there. It's pretty tough conditions. The wind is awkward by the look of it. And although it is favouring the airport end, it is certainly blowing across the ground at that end as well. And the ball to be thrown up once again. Umpire Bennett puts the ball into the air. Taswell slaps it forward. Picked up by a Railways player who's tackled, caught in possession. Good tackle there put on the Railways player. And that is young Denham Ranger with the free kick. So Denham's been pretty good early. He's gone towards the boundary line, but the breeze has grabbed it. And once again, out of bounds on the full. So there's going to be a lot of that. And Aaron Dow's like it. This is his 3rd kick in from the ball being out of bounds on this side of the ground, the broadcast box here at Greenock Oval.
You're going to see a lot of the game from our vantage point here this afternoon for Radio Mama, Glenn. The ball from Dow going back into the half-forward area. Players trying to run onto it. The player first in the race on that occasion was Shaden Edwards, but the ball is far too quick for him. And again over the boundary in front of the scoreboard, which as we head to the latter stage of the first term, Glenn, is only 4 points, is up between 2 teams, and Railways have all of those 4 points.
Yes, I was hearing about that game that was played last week where there wasn't many goals scoring. In the last quarter in the game up the recreation ground last week between Towns and Railways only lasted 20 minutes and 38 seconds, so this quarter could be very similar because the goals haven't been troubled as yet. 12 minutes gone in this first term as Joey Ugle brings the ball out, finds Gabriel Parfitt, one of the stars for the Demons. Gabriel Parfitt goes out wide. He's gone to the other side, but he's gone fair way wide. But the ball isn't out of bounds on the full, which is a bonus. And the boundary umpire will throw the ball back in.
One would think, Glenn, that if Rovers want to make any inroads down ground into the breeze, they're going to have to run with the ball, aren't they?
Yeah, well, they may be just quite happy to, as long as Railways aren't scoring, they're not being damaged too much, and they're not going to wear out their motors trying to go forward. But let's see how they go now. Picked up by Alex Reynolds. He's got a beautiful haircut. He gets the ball forward, and it's called a mullet, and he's pretty happy with it. The ball goes the way now of Railways, and Tessier gets it forward, goes the way now of Cocking, throws it on his left boot, but there's nobody home for the Railways side. Chris Scott is there for Rovers. Chris Scott decides to go out the Hallwood Road side of the ground, where he finds a teammate there in Ugle. Ugle kicks it up along the boundary line, but once again, Railways have the numbers. Kimberley's there. He retrieves it again. He gets a kick forward. In fact, it's Priolo. Priolo gets a kick forward, looking up there for some action. Picked up now by the Railways player who shoots on goal, and he is offline. That's Keezer. And minus score. Cameron Keezer shooting on goal. Another minus score. So
you only have to touch the ball with your boot and it goes flying in the direction of Railways goals, that's for sure. So the Breeze playing havoc this afternoon. The ball on the broadcast side once again coming down the wing. It's Railways who are first in the race to collect it. The player running onto it is the player
Gabriel
there.
Parfitt's in a bit of bother.
In Aaron Dow. He's brought to ground. Rovers go forward now. The ball coming out from our broadcast position. It's with Rovers now. It's Ugle who has it. Ugle goes one way, sells the dummy. Nice little chip pass. And easily finds this player in Azevedo. Azevedo, wearing number 37, has come down the ground to get a touch of the ball. Kicking into the breeze is going to be hard, so he's going to go laterally. So he does that. He finds a player equal to the task in Glenn Rosser. Rosser now on the far side in front of the Rovers club room, sends the ball forward. The first sortie forward for the Demons is almost successful as it's marked only about 20 to 25 metres out. And I think, is that player Delane? I'm not sure. But he will be having a shot on goal. So the ball in front of the Rovers club rooms now. So, as you said, Glenn, it must be the latest trend to have a big run-up when you're kicking the ball. Because he marked it a lot closer into the forward 50 than where he is there. So here he goes now. Ball coming in. I think it's Delane. He'll kick it toward the southern end. Comes off the side of the boot and through for the minor score. So Rovers get their first score of the board, on the board, as the first term nears to a close here at Granite.
Yeah, that was Jake Delane. As we see Railways bring the ball out, comes the way of Boyle, goes the way of Saunders. Railways moving the ground well. Rovers had a really good build-up there. They really needed to get a score on the board. It's the first time they've been in their forward 50, and we've played 15 minutes in this first term with thanks to Warren Taylor-Holmes. Messina gets the ball up the ground and finds the player there in Dow. Aaron Dow kicks it forward, looking there for Adamini, bounces away from him. Adamini goes back in, slaps the ball out, comes the way of Cocking. Jack Cocking shoots on goal from 35 to 40 metres out. He is offline. So for the sixth minus score in a row in succession on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways are 6 behind. They lead Rovers yet to score. And we would say, fair to say, that Rovers are going against a fair breeze in this quarter, and they'll be hoping that they can keep Railways out for the remaining of the term.
Yeah, certainly, Glenn, if they do that, because Railways certainly, those 6 points could have been at least 3 goals. So that's something that they'll certainly have to contemplate as they head toward the first break here in our Drennan O'Malley game day. The ball coming out of defence is with Rovers now, keeping it in their keeping. The player doing that is Jake Criddle. Goes to ground, gets it now to Ugle. Gee, I like him. He really puts in effort, does Joey Ugle. Goes one way, then the other, and actually takes it out of bounds on this occasion. The umpire almost seeing it as deliberate, but he's too far away from the action. The ball now will be thrown in just in front of the Rovers dugout. Glenn, you're seeing a lot of the game at close quarters this afternoon.
I certainly am, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. The game being played at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabua. Quarter time, Brigades 2-2-14. Chapman Valley 1-1-7, so a 7-point margin there. Similar to our contest here, as we see Rovers get the ball on centre wing. Goes the way of Josh Simpson. He feeds it out to Glenn Prosser. Prosser runs around his opponent and sees the ball across the boundary line. And then he tackles the player high. The umpire said, no, he and he's going to ask that player to take the free kick.
He could get a job at the Rodeo next year, Glenn.
That's right. So Aaron Dow, he's been very, very active this afternoon. He's got a lot of the ball. He's a bit worse for wear. So Aaron Dow, he's had a lot of kicks, generally from out of bounds on the full, but he had to work very hard for a kick on that occasion. Ball goes forward. Cocking couldn't put a handle on it. Goes over the back. Jamie Gears there, one of the very good players for Rovers last week, in very tough conditions for Rovers last week. He gets the ball towards the boundary line. But once again,
talking about new dads, I did spy Jamie in a supermarket recently with a little bubba, so I think he might be a new dad too, Glenn.
Oh, very nice. So he's coming to football to escape and have a little bit of release. But he's in defence, so he's got a lot of work to do. He's under a fair bit of pressure, and he's doing a good job and consistently does a good job for his club. So we're into time on almost in this first term, thanks to Warren Taylor Holmes. And Railways haven't done a lot of trouble, haven't caused a lot of grief on the scoreboard as yet. Railways are 6 behinds. Rovers yet to open their account. Rovers have only been forward once. Railways have been forward at least 6 times. There goes the ball, goes the way of Railways. They get the ball forward. Once again, can Rovers keep it out of the danger zone? Priolo was there for Railways, but so too is Prosser, who's been there for the Rovers side. He gets his kick up towards the half-back line, and the player there was tackled, and that was young Riley Zimmerman. He didn't have prior opportunities. Umpire Robert Bennett will throw the ball up. Ball thrown up. Goes the way of the player there, Josh Simpson. He couldn't pick it up. Railways going forward again. Rovers in defence. Chris Scott's there. Needs to get rid of the ball quickly.
Oh, he didn't have it.
He's caught in possession. He got rid of the ball inappropriately, and the umpire will give the free kick. It'll go the way of Shaden Edwards. So Shaden is a noted goal scorer. He's 50 metres out. He goes back now, sets sail for home. Ball fades away this side of the left-hand side, but out the back,
Cocking.
read the ball beautifully, was Jack Cocking, and Railways may get their first goal. Jack Cocking plays on quickly. The umpire said, I haven't set you on your mark yet, so he'll go back. The ball will have to be retrieved, and we know the story there, so we'll wait. So the Rovers player will have to go and get it because no one else is going to go and get it, so we could be waiting here for some time. One of the spectators, youngsters, has gone
18 and a half minutes gone in the term, then.
Yeah, so time ticking by, but this looks like Railway's best opportunity of this first term.
Sorry, 19 and a half.
Yeah, so this is the first opportunity that Railways have to kick the goal. Well, they've had more opportunities than this, but this looks like the best opportunity because Jack Cocking is only 10 metres from goal.
I hope he hasn't wasted his kicking boot there.
So he's 10 metres from goal. He's right on the point post, so he goes around, screws it around the corner. Goal umpire signals it is a goal, and Jack Cocking gets his first of the afternoon. Railways do too. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, as we head towards quarter time, Railways are 1 goal 6. Rovers are yet to score.
Yes, an important goal for Railways. They needed to get a major on the board in full quarter time, Glenn. As we mentioned, they have a strong breeze favouring the end to which they're kicking, about a 4-goal breeze at times. It is blustery and a little bit inconsistent, but it is a strong breeze, and one would think that maybe they haven't used it enough. But time will tell when Rovers have the use of the breeze in the next term, which isn't too far away.
That certainly is. Ball back in the centre with umpire Theo Bennett. So, yes, Railways have had their opportunities. They haven't taken them. So is that giving Rovers an opportunity? They'd be pretty buoyed by their performance.
They haven't actually put Rovers' point up there. Maybe Rovers didn't get a point, then I thought they got a point. Young Delane.
Oh, right, I did too. But no, maybe they can't have. Yep. The ball comes the way, or maybe he didn't.
It might have been
out in the full.
Marked on the line or something.
Ball goes the way of Jesse Adamini. Adamini gets it forward, finds Shaden Edwards. Edwards is 80 metres from goal, centres the ball, but Rovers are there. Joey Ugle, he's a ripper. Gets the ball forward, finds another good player in Chris Scott. Chris Scott on centre wing. Can Rovers dig a great opportunity in the last minute or so? Ball goes the way there of the player there.
Oh, good mark.
And a good shot goes the way of the Rovers player, and Rovers have taken it. And that is Clay Azevedo, who is noted goal scorer, but he's a long way from goal. So Clay Azevedo looking for some movement up forward. Kicks from 50 metres. It's a very good kick. It'll drop short. Pack into the air. Rovers player flies high. Picked up by Railways. Railways player in Kimberley quickly soccers or boots the ball forward, looking up the ground. Keys is there for Railways. He's tackled high. It goes the way of Adamini. Adamini plays on. Advantage rule paid. Goes the way of Shaden Edwards. Edwards goes by hand looking for the player there in Blake Messina. Messina trying to put a handle on it now. Runs towards the 50-metre line. Right on the boundary line. Kicks it towards full forward. Looking again for Jack Cocking. Cocking couldn't mark. Rovers under pressure. Ball spills. Picked out now by the Rovers player there in Jacob Troy. He brings it around the corner where he finds Gabriel Parfitt on half-back.
Gabriel Parfitt slowing things down as we near the quarter-time break. Goes laterally. He finds the arms there of Taswell. Taswell's been prominent in the first term. He tries to get it forward. He's impeded in his efforts. And as the ball trickles out of his hands into the ground, the siren sounds to announce that it is quarter time in Adrena O'Malley game day. And at quarter time it is. Railways 1-6-13, 1 goal 6-12. And they lead Rovers yet to open their account. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of
So, interesting scoreline. Still waiting for a score to come through from what is happening up at Percher International Oval this afternoon. But I can tell you in the game out at Mazzucchelli Oval at Nabor at quarter time, Brigades 2-2-14, lead Chapman Valley 1-1-7. So the clubs are back in position now. We're about to get this second term underway. An interesting second term break as the coaches get back to the benches. They're interchange players as well. So we're about to get this second term underway. So a interesting scoreline. Railways are 1 goal, 6-12. Rovers are yet to score. Rovers are kicking with a breeze at their back in this second term. This second term with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Umpire Kevin Osborne puts the ball into the air and the big fellas go at it. Letessia knocks it down to Boyle. Boyle gets a kick away, goes up towards the half forward line, looking up there for some run from the player in Corey Clark. Clark gets a kick forward, looking up there for some some movement. Railways, can they get a score against the breeze very, very quickly? Whistle on play. Railways player got rid of the ball inappropriately, so Bo Simpson takes the free kick. Bo Simpson, he's been good again this afternoon. Bo Simpson gets the ball forward and finds that player Antonio Priolo. Priolo, he's on the outer wing, the Horde Road side of the ground, kicking towards the clubroom end. Big kick up towards half forward, looking there for Mitchell Boyle. He's pushed under the ball. Ball comes out, goes the way of goes the way of Joseph Iario. He gets tackled, whistle on play, player caught in possession, and Rovers will be able to relieve the pressure from half back.
Coming out of defence now, the ball comes toward our broadcast position. Is Reynolds who has the ball. He comes further afield. Down in front of our broadcast position it goes. Fisted away by Jesse Moore. Goes to ground. Picked up by Kimberley. Kimberley knocks it forward for Railways. It's bottled up by the veteran in Kyle Watts. And a free kick has been found though. No, it hasn't. Yes, it has. No, the umpire says no prior opportunity and he'll ball it up. A lot of play right at close quarters, in close quarters today here as the wind blows slightly across the ground, favouring the western side of Greenock Oval. Adamini coming in close to the ball, sockers it inboard. It's picked up now by Ugle. He's got 3 players to beat. Gets it out now to Bremer Walker. Bremer Walker for the Demons, sends it further afield, but only it finds the chest on this occasion of Ben Saunders.
So the ball comes back to Railways. Jager Williams is there, feeds it out towards the player in Saunders. Saunders goes to Kimberley. Kimberley goes out wide and finds a player there in Riley Zimmerman. Zimmerman feeds a handball forward. Railways pushing the ball forward on the outer side of the ground, or the Hallwood Road side of the ground. Picked up now by Kaiser. He gets it by hand to a teammate there in Messina. Messina gets it forward and finds a player there in Rowe. Rowe gets it further afield, and Railways have the ball with Jesse Adamini. 50 metres out, kicks it towards full forward. Running under the ball is Jack Cocking, picked up by Alex Newton, but Newton is tackled high, and Alex Newton will get an opportunity to shoot on goal again for the Railways club. So Alex Newton kicking to the city end in this turn. 2.5 minutes gone in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, on Drinno O'Malley Motors game day. So this will be a really important kick. Railways kicking one against the breeze. It'll be a handy kick from here. Alex Newton, recruited for Railways as a goal scorer. He's kicked a few bags throughout the year. I think he's kicked a 4 and a 5. Let's see how he goes. He's got his first of the afternoon, and Railways get their second. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways go to 2 goals, 6-18. They lead Rovers, yet to open their account.
Yes, the second goal against the breeze. And we will say it is a blustery 3 to 4 goal breeze favouring the airport end. That goal scored by Railways at the city end of the ground. And it was a nice kick by Alex Newton. He is a potent forward for Railways and has been for them this season. And hopefully he will continue to be in form as they head toward the finals. Ball back in the middle now. Rovers still unable to get a score on the board. It's been in their forward 50 a couple of times. This term, though, Coach Incumbent would hope to get a few on the board with the breeze at their back. Up they go now. Taswell doesn't get it. Goes to ground. It's picked up by the player there in Corey Clark for Railways. He gets it outside the pack, goes to ground, picked up by Scott. He too fumbles. The ball spills free. Can he get another bite of the cherry? Goes one way, then the other. Under the bottom of the pack is the player there in Shaden Edwards. He's quickly set upon, brought to ground. And the umpire says no prior opportunity. I'll throw it up again, boys. It's closer to the Hallwood Road side of the ground. Hasn't been over there much this afternoon. That's where most of the crowd is, though. The ball kicked into the middle for Rovers, but it's taken now by Saunders for the Blues. He gives it away to Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it to the half-forward area. Coming down to take a nice mark on this occasion is Jager Williams.
So the ball goes forward, goes up towards the half-forward line, looking there for some movement. Railways player puts his body over the ball. Ball spills out. Rovers need to get it out of that danger zone. Good tackle put on him. Messina's in there fighting hard. Messina gets a kick forward, deep into the pocket, but Bo Simpson's there again. Bo Simpson's been prominent again this afternoon. And so too has this player, and Alex Reynolds, playing one of his early games. Youngster, looks like a likely type, goes with a kick to Gear. Jager Gear is there. Gear goes by hand back to Reynolds. Reynolds better get rid of it. He gets rid of it just the nick of time. Ball spills. Picked up by Cocking for Railways. Puts it on his left boot. Kicks towards goal. But once again, Bo Simpson's there. Takes a good strong mark. Goes out wide. Looking there for Tazewell. Tazewell's there on the half-back line. Kicks it up towards centre wing.
Centre wing, and Joe Ugle is waiting for it. He pounces on the ball, but there's a bit to beat, and the boundary line comes up very quickly, and the ball trickles over. It's centre wing on the Hallwood Road side of Greenock Oval. Rovers need to get their act together. They need to get a goal, a score on the board, in fact. They haven't got anything yet. The ball comes in, players setting themselves. Up goes Taswell again, gets it down to Ugle. He's been great this afternoon. Kicks it into the half-forward area. Can they do something here? Parfitt misses the ball. It trickles toward the big sticks. Will it bounce through for a score? As we go toward the goal line, the umpire says it was touched, and it goes through for the minor score.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, up at Percher International Oval at Northampton. Northampton 17, lead Mullawar 10. And out at Nabua, Brigades 14, lead Chapman Valley 7. That's points, of course. Ball to be brought back in now by Railways, and it's Mitchell Boyle. He comes across the ground and looks there for Matthew Kimberley. Matty Kimberley brings it up towards half-back, where he finds Ben Saunders. Saunders' kick's not a good one. Goes the way of Rowe, but Rowe does well. Feeds a handball out towards the player there in Edwards. Edwards comes towards centre wing, broadcast side, where he finds Jesse Adamini. Adamini steady under pressure. Kicks the way of Alex Newton. Newton's still a long way from goal, but he kicks the ball around the corner now, looking for Blake Messina. Ball carries that player. Picked up now by Ugle. Ugle goes by hand to Simpson. Simpson goes by hand to Glenn Prosser. He slips over the crucial stage. Umpire says play on. Ball comes the way of Cocking now. Jack Cocking for Railways. Kicks the ball back towards half forward. Big pack around the ball. Umpire says get it out, and Cocking does well. Cocking didn't have a ball, and that's the way the umpire has seen it. Jack Cocking was tackled while he didn't have possession, and Jack Cocking will shoot on goal from 40 metres out, kicking towards the city end against a very stiff breeze here at Greenock Oval.
Almost the same position that the last goal scorer scored from, Glenn.
So Jack Cocking kicked one this afternoon, and the other goal scorer for Railways was Alex Newton. There's only been 2 goal scorers, so it's easy to keep up with them this afternoon. So let's see how Jack goes from here. 40 metres out. He's a very good kicker of the football, but he's kicking against the breeze. There goes the kick.
Nice
Looks pretty
kick.
good. It'll drop short, pack into the air. Rovers slap it forward. Ball running free. And Rovers have an opportunity if they can pick it up, but Railways do well. Shaden Edwards does well to keep his head out of the road. Ball goes the way now of Chris Scott for Rovers. Scott, the defender. 1 bounce, 2 bounce. Handballs it back. Looking there for a player, but the ball's picked up now by Railways player and Corey Clark. And Corey Clark, who's one of Railways' best, gets it the way of Letessia. Letessia gets the way of Jesse Moore. The ball's on half back. It's gone from the broadcast side of the ground to the Hallwood Road side of the ground. Antonio Priolo, who's been good this afternoon, gets it up towards half forward, looking there for Newton, but he misses what he should have taken. Josh Simpson does a pirouette, gives it to a teammate, put him under the pump. Ball comes back towards the player there and Corey Clark. Ball spills. Rovers soccer it forward. Can Rovers get a hold of it? The ball's right on the boundary line, the outer side. Nobody home for Rovers. Letessia's there for Railways. He goes by hand to Blake Messina. Messina gives it to a teammate who seemed to cop one high. The umpire says, play on, you're both in it. And eventually the ball comes to a standstill. The umpire will throw the ball up on half forward on the outer side. Closer to Rovers' goals than Railways at the airport end.
2-6 Railways in front of Rovers 1 point. Railways led by just 12 points at quarter time. The ball going forward for Rovers now into the half-forward area. Drummond is the first on the scene. The boundary comes up all too quickly, but it's in the full-forward area now for the Demons. They'd be hoping to get a score on the board from this passage of play. The ball in front of the scoreboard, thanks to Chapman Road Dental Clinic. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Ball being thrown in now, players setting themselves. Knocked down by Rovers, goes to ground. The Rovers player roved his own ball that he knocked down, but Messina's quick enough to collect it as it dribbles along the ground, comes off a Railways boot into the half-forward area. Running onto it is Taswell. He's unable to collect it, goes the way of Simpson now. Simpson too is unlucky, going back now to Railways. The defender sends it forward, and he sends it down the corridor and finds the chest of Alex Newton. Alex Newton's come right down the ground now. He switches play to the outer side, finds a teammate who puts it onto his boot, sends it inboard now, and Cocking almost in the middle of the ground. He goes back to the Hallwood Road side of the ground. He's looking for support out there through Corey Clark. Corey Clark has the ball in front of the Rovers club rooms, but is unable to get control of it, and the ball goes out of bounds.
10 minutes gone in this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. An interesting reserves game up at Northampton this afternoon. There was a draw, just like last night, with the Fremantle Dockers in the reserves at Northampton. Northampton 5-10-40 drew with Mullawar, 6 goals for 40. As we see Rovers go forward across the ground, and they're in defence. Balls with Chris Scott. So Chris Scott relieving the pressure for the Demons. Chris Scott from full back kicks it towards centre wing. Radio Mama broadcast box side of the ground, picked up by Delane. Delane is tackled and didn't get rid of the ball appropriately. Good tackle put on Delane by the player there in Jesse Moore. Jesse Moore brings the ball into ground. Inboard finds Jesse Adamini. Jesse Adamini on half forward, takes a bounce, kicks it forward, looking there for Alex Newton. Once again the ball spills out, comes the way of Chris Scott, and the ball still in play. Railways did well. The two Kimberley boys get together, they feed the ball out towards Blake Messina. Messina goes across the face of goal, looking out there for Shaden Edwards, but an opportunity once again for the very reliable Bo Simpson. Simpson feeds a handball out, but Railways going back in, trying to get the ball forward. Comes the way now of the player there in Edwards. Shaden Edwards has the ball smothered off his boot. Well done by the Rovers player who did very well on that situation. And Jack Campbell. Ball very close on the outer side to Jai Thurston. Ball comes very close to the boundary line, but Rovers keep it in play. Simpson gets it forward. Goes the way there of the player in Kyan Townsend. Ball spills Ball running free. In goes Rowe. Pack around the ball. Picked up this time by the Railways player in Matt Kimberley. Kimberley kicks it up towards half forward where he finds Mitchell Boyle. Boyle feeds a handball out there to Riley Zimmerman. Picked up now by Jesse Adamini. Jesse Adamini shoots on goal. He's across the face of goal, and beautiful mark taken by Rovers' Chris Scott.
Chris Scott, Rock of Gibraltar with that particular mark. He sends it further afield. He's looking for Tazwell. Tazwell didn't judge the bounce well, nor did his opposite number. The ball coming in toward the boundary now, and it trickles over in front of our broadcast position. So, it is 12, nearly 13 minutes gone, and this is the first term, or second term I should say, at Greenock Oval this afternoon. Dreadnought Mallee game day. This quarter brought to you by Melissa Price, the member for Durack. The ball about to be thrown in right in front of our broadcast position for Radio Mum. I hope you're enjoying the broadcast this afternoon. Peter Forenza and Glenn Barnes bringing you all the action. The ball out of the pack goes away now of the Railways' Antonio Parolo. He tries to get it further afield and eventually finds Jack Cocking. Cocking has come right down the ground. Six goes laterally now to the outer side. Now it's picked up by Peter Kimberley. Kimberley spins around on a 50-cent piece, sends it into the half-forward area. Running onto it is the Railways player who moves toward the boundary and loses possession of the ball and is caught in possession in the end, and a free kick will go the way of Rovers. So out of defence now come the Demons. They go laterally across the back of goals, and it seemed to be a silly kick because it's gone out over the out of bounds, and will be thrown in deep attack now for the Blues.
That's right. So it's going to be thrown in about 5 metres around from the left point post. So Railways in the best position here with the ball in their forward 50. Ball comes back in from the throw-in. Jack Cocking slaps it down. Picked up by Adamini. He goes backwards, finds Aaron Dow. Dow centres the ball and finds Kimberley. And a good strong mark taken there by Matt Kimberley. Matt Kimberley is still 50 metres from goal. A tough tick on a good day, but we're against the breeze in this quarter. So he goes with another short pass and finds another short pass to the way of Alex Newton. Newton centres the ball now. Shaden Edwards got himself into a good position. He's an opportunist, is Shaden Edwards, and you wouldn't give him too much leeway within 50 metres of goal. Now Shaden Edwards will shoot on goal from 30 metres out, kicking against the breeze, but a very important kick this one. And Railways can bring up their third goal of the afternoon as we head towards the 15-minute mark of this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack, on Dreadnought O'Malley Motors game day. There goes the kick. It'll drop short, off hands, and through for a force behind. So on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways go to 2 goals, 7-19. They lead Rovers 1 behind as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. We've got an update from the game up at Percher International Oval, and the quarter-time score there is Northampton 2-4-16, lead Mullawa 2 behind. So 2-4-16 to 2 behinds.
There seems to be a bit of a stop in play here as there's some interchange play with blood coming off. So that's looks like it's Jack Campbell, so he's being replaced by another Rovers player, the Denham Ranger, and another youngster to come on as well, with two being substituted in Jacob Troy. So the ball coming out of defence now for the Demons. Down the boundary it comes. Players setting themselves. Up goes Jacob Troy. I shouldn't say Jacob Troy. Tazwell, I mean. He's been in everything this afternoon. The ball goes to ground. Running in to try and collect it on this occasion. Several players from both sides. Jesse Moore at the base of the pack for the Blues. The umpire says, give it to me, Jess, and we'll throw it up once again. So, as we head toward the middle stages of this particular game, a very low-scoring affair. The breeze certainly is a factor, but not on the scoreboard. The ball coming out of a pack goes the way of Prosser. Prosser gets it only to Railways. Adamini has it, wearing the long sleeves. He has a bit of space. Nice little chip kick inboard and looks for Jaden Edwards. Jaden Edwards couldn't take the mark, though. As Glenn said, it was a good kick. The ball spills free and players dive on top of it.
As we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, half-time out there at Mazzucchelli Oval. And Brigades 4-8-32 lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. So a 6-point ball game there at Nabor Oval. A good contest as Aaron McCartney celebrates his 200th game for the Brigades club this afternoon.
Ball thrown up, not far from our broadcast position, going the way now of Simpson. Simpson for the Demons, kicks us out of the pack, goes away of Gabriel Parfitt. He can set something up here, goes for Drummond. The bounce isn't kind for Drummond, goes in front of a couple of players, but it's all Railways. In deep defence, they get the ball. Go laterally now to the outer side, Railways out of danger. Rovers had a scoring opportunity, did it go begging? The ball goes away of Messina. Messina is 2 to beat and tries to take them on and is caught up. The ball also is caught up and the free kick will go the way of the Demons. Rovers can play on now. Messina caught in possession. The ball going further afield and it looks like it's out on the full with that passage of play. The ball will be thrown in deep attack now for Rovers. They have a 3 to 4 goal breeze blustery at their back, Glenn, and haven't been able to score.
No, Railways hold an 18-point margin. They hold a 12-point margin at quarter time, so it's been a good start to the game, but very similar in scoring patterns to what happened when Railways played last week against Towns. This time it's picked up and rowed by Rovers' Roland Drummond, who's usually very good around goals, but the wind is even too blustery for the very talented Drummond. The ball goes through for a minor score. Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard. Railways are 2-7-19. Rovers are 2 behinds. As the ball comes back into play, not a very good kick there from Zimmerman. It lets Rovers have an opportunity through Ugle. Ugle throws it on his boot. Ball running free, bounces, comes back towards the Railways player who's tackled too high, and he certainly didn't dodge. Didn't have to fake that one. He was ripped right across the neck, and he was caught high, so fair enough. He gets the free kick. Antonio Priolo, and he's been good this afternoon, working hard, the young Railways player. Priolo has the ball in defence, gets a short pass and finds Matty Kimberley. So Matt Kimberley has the ball on half back, feeds a handball out. No, he doesn't. He does now. Feeds it out towards Priolo. Priolo goes towards the boundary line. Goes the way of Kyle Watts. He feeds it back towards the player there and Cocking. Cocking kicks it in towards centre wing. Finds Shaden Edwards. Edwards draws a handball. Goes the way of Jesse Moore, but the boundary line comes into play. And we'll see the throw in front of our Radio Mama broadcast box here at Greenock Oval. 18 or 19 and a half minutes gone, so not much time left in this first half of football. 19 and a half minutes gone with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. On Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Letessia wins it. Goes the way of Dow. Dow feeds it out by hand. Goes the way of Kimberley. A lot of pressure on this afternoon. Whether it's imposed or because of the breeze, I'm not sure. Prosser gets it forward for Rovers. Puts his teammate under pressure, but the player there for Rovers in Jai Thurston sees the ball across the boundary line. And there'll be a boundary throw-in just in front of the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard. Railways 2-7-19. They lead Rovers 2 behinds.
20 minutes gone in this, the second term, heading to half-time here. Drennan O'Malley game day. Big crowd in attendance here at Greenock Oval this afternoon. In they come now, players setting themselves. A knocker to ground. Diving on top of it. Railways do the better. Messina, nice little chip pass. He finds Shaden Edwards. He drops the mark, goes to ground, is able to recover, goes inboard now, gives it away to Boyle. The little general bounces it once, puts it onto his boot, sends it into the half-forward area, puts it into space. He's wanting Cocking to run onto it. And like a race course, he catches up and he tries to send it forward. He sockers it off his boot into the full-forward area. The Rovers defender comes across the ball, trying to head for the boundary, but is unsuccessful. Goes back the way of Railways. That player too is slung around. The ball spills free. Railways have another opportunity through Adamini. He goes backwards now. Goes back the way of Shaden Edwards. He looks for a player around the corner with a bit of a soccer pass. Eventually, it goes the way of Railways. They're right in front of goal. Can they set something up? Yes, they can, as it eventually goes the way of Corey Clark.
Yes.
And he scores for the Railway side.
So Railways get their third goal of the afternoon. Corey Clark gets his first. So Railways have kicked a goal at the 20-minute mark of the first term, a 3-minute mark of the second term, and now at the 21-minute mark of the second term.
A really good team goal by the Blues there, Glenn. They
against the breeze, they worked the ball
hard.
well.
They did. They're like a yacht going, tacking up against the breeze, weren't they?
So a very, very important goal for Railways, just on the close to the siren in this second term as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. And we can give you half-time scores at the other two grounds at the moment. And the game being played up at Percher International Oval, half-time, Northampton 4-7-31, lead Mullawa 1-7-13. And half-time in the game being played at Naboo and Mazzucchelli Oval, Brigades 4-8-32. They lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. So quite tight contest, and tightest is at Nabwa. And we've got a 23-point ball game here in the dying stages of this second term, with thanks to Melissa Price, the member for Durack. Picked up now by Ugle. He feeds it out towards Joshua Simpson. Josh Simpson draws a player, goes the way of Denham Ranger. Denham Ranger quickly puts the boot to ball, kicks it up towards full forward. Ball running free. Railways can clear now through Watts, who gets it towards Saunders. Saunders' kicking's not been great today. Ball goes forward, goes the way of the player there in Blake Messina. He feeds the handball out to Jago Williams. But the siren has sounded, half-time of the football on this very important day. Round 13 for the Think Mental Health round. And we're coming live from Greenock Oval. And at half-time, Railways 3-7-25, lead Rovers 2 behinds. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. great to be here. Round 13, the Think Mental Health round, live from Grenfell Oval. Third place, Rovers hosting second place, Railways. And you're tuned to Sportshed, SHL Radio Mama. We're the home of GNFL footy. Glenn Bunton and Peter Forenza bringing you all the action this afternoon. And looking at our broadcast game, Railways in a pretty good situation at the moment. Breeze are their back in this third quarter. And Railways are 3-7-25. They lead Rovers 2 behinds as we quickly go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Half-time at the other games at Northampton at Percher International Oval. Half-time, Northampton 4-7-31. Lead Mullawa 1-7-13. Half-time at Nabawar's Mazzucchelli Oval. And Brigades 4-8-32. Lead Chapman Valley 4-2-26. But getting back to our game here, our broadcast game, it's 23 points the margin. Our half-time summary with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. And Railways have 3 single goal scorers. Jack Cocking, Alex Newton and Corey Clark have kicked goals. Peter, you're looking after better players for Rovers and contenders for the Skeeters Restaurant Player of the Day. Who have you liked from Rovers in the first half?
Taswell continues to be a major player for Rovers. Scott, Prosser and Parfitt.
And looking at Railways, Jesse Adamini, Aaron Dow, Shaden Edwards, Jack Cocking and Antonio Priolo are amongst the better players. We're about to get this third term underway. Weather looking a little bit threatening now. Drennan O'Malley Motors game day, this third term. Umpire Bennett gets the ball up in the air and Railways have the ball quickly into their forward 50. Picked up again by the player there in Chris Scott, but it gives Railways an opportunity. Goes the way of Shaden Edwards, and Shaden Edwards sees the ball given away, and it's picked up now by the young Rovers defender. Rovers bring the ball back along the club broadcast box side of the ground. Glenn Prosser's there, fighting hard. Prosser kicks the ball in towards the centre, looking for Dwayne Neville. Haven't seen a lot of Dwayne this afternoon. He's tackled. Good pressure put on him by Jesse Moore. Ball spills out. Once again, the umpire giving it plenty of opportunity. Picked up by Letessia for Railways. Picked up by Mitchell Boyle. He gives it out towards Ben Saunders. Saunders can't pick it up, but Bo Simpson can for Rovers. But it goes back towards Boyle. Boyle goes by hand to a teammate who gets it out towards the hard-running Corey Clark. Clark kicks it forward. Rain's starting to fall now. Look, pretty big drops too. Ball comes the way, and a free kick's been picked out. It'll go the way of the Rovers defence. Rovers get it the way of Glenn Prosser.
Prosser just in front of our broadcast position, sends it further afield at centre wing. Simpson is outmarked on this occasion by Kimberley. Kimberley sends it inboard now. Railways can set something up as it goes inside the forward 50 for them. Shade Edwards is there. He goes one way then the other. Eventually collects the ball. Is held by about 3 players but gets away from them. Loses possession. Goes back the way of a teammate who's tackled without the ball. The umpire, I think he was cited on that occasion. And a free kick should go the way of the... No, caught in possession I think he is. And a will go the way of the Rovers player in Scott. Scott, one of the better players in the first half of the Demons. Up against the breeze, the Demons now. About a 4-goal breeze. Rain affected at the moment. The ball in front of the Dental Clinic scoreboard. Goes away of Criddle. Criddle down 2. The little speedster in Jai Thurston. He fists the ball away and over the boundary. So, Railways led by 12 points at quarter time, 23 at half time. The scoreboard is 25-2. So no change in the score in favour of the Blues. This is Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football. Ball going to ground. Players diving on top of it. Adamini at the base of the pack. One of the favourites at the moment for the Sportshed Footballer of the Year. And we believe he'd be getting Clune Medal votes as well. Goes to Kimberley now. He's been good this afternoon, Matt Kimberley. Been good all year. Sends it inboard now. Goes away of Alex Newton. Newton marks. Kicks up into the full forward area. It's a nice kick by Newton. Picked up by the breeze, but misses all and sundry, and will be thrown in a deep attack now for the Railway side.
It's a bit wet and windy and blustery here at Grenfell Oval as Rovers about to make an interchange. Kyan Townsend is putting his multicoloured headwear on. He's about to come back on. So the ball is about to be brought back in from the boundary.
Us mentioning that last week, Glenn. His family thought that was pretty good.
Well, it is pretty flash.
It is.
As long as it protects Kyan, that's all we worry about, isn't it? Yeah, that's all we care about. As the ball is to be thrown back in. Gabriel Parfitt coming off for a spell. Picked up now by the Railways player. Gets met solidly. In goes Alex Newton. Feeds it out. Goes the way of Aaron Dow. Best game I've seen him play. He gets the ball up towards the half-forward line. Looking there for some movement. Brigades, Northampton. No, it's neither of those sides. It's Rovers getting it out through Joshua Simpson. Joshua Simpson gets it the way now of Jager Williams to Dow to Jesse Adamini. Goes the way of Letessia. Letessia to the player there in Edwards, who gives it the way of Corey Clark. Railways go deep into attack again, but once again a free kick's been given away, and Rovers have it through Jamie Gear. Jamie Gear puts it on his left boot, comes out towards the boundary line. Dow stands his ground. Dow takes a very good mark, and Dow can send the Blues back into attack.
Yeah, racking up kicks, as you said, Glenn. Dow sends it inboard now from backs to whence it came. The ball goes to ground. It's picked up this occasion by Corey Clark, one of the few goal scorers this afternoon. Goes laterally, though. The Rovers defender is in best position. He sends it into the middle of the ground, and Jesse Moore takes a nice solid mark. The veteran Jesse Moore kicks it into the half-forward area, going toward the scoreboard, thanks to Chapman Road Dental Clinic, which sees Railways 3-7, leading Rovers yet to open their account. Don't forget to join us each Saturday from 8:30 for Mitchell & Brown Retrovision's Sportshed Saturday. Sport from 8:30 right through to 12, all sport from a local perspective.
Ball to be brought back in by the boundary umpire just below the Chapman Road Dental Clinic, which reads Railways 3-7-25, Rovers 2 behinds. Ball roved beautifully by Mitchell Boyle, looking for some movement. He gets a kick forward now, deep into the pocket, looking there for Jack Cocking. Cocking couldn't put a handle on it. Rovers player on hands and knees is met solidly. Umpire says get the ball out, giving him plenty of opportunity. He didn't have the opportunity. So umpire Theo Bennett will come in and throw the ball up once more at the airport end of Greenock Oval. Rovers ruckman slaps it over the back, picked up by Gear. Jamie Gear puts it on his left boot, kicks it forward, looking up there for the hard-running player who is Clay Azevedo. And Clay Azevedo sees the ball across the boundary line. There'll be a boundary throw-in on the Hallwood Road side of Greenock Oval. And the clock hasn't started in this third term, so time ticking by in this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. So the ball will be thrown back in. Ball comes back in from the boundary throw-in. Roved now by the Railways player who's met solidly. Mitchell Boyle's in there trying to get the ball out. Comes back to Boyle. Whistle on play. Ball is out of bounds. So certainly plenty of breeze favouring that end, but it's very hard to get hold of the ball and very hard to kick a goal. It would appear.
The windsock almost at 180 degrees at times, Glenn. The ball about to be thrown in from where the windsock is on the Hallwood Road side of the ground. Getting pretty dark here at Greenock Oval this afternoon. Cloud-covered affair. The ball coming out of the pack goes away now of Rovers. Criddle tries to get it out to a teammate, running onto it as Prosser. Impeded in his move forward over the ball. He dives on top of it. Is tackled in doing so. No one had prior opportunity and the ball will be thrown up. So the ball certainly staying in the forward 50 for Railways. Will they make another goal opportunity come their way?
Ball picked up now by the player there in Clark. He goes by hand, picked up by the young Rovers player who I've been impressed with this afternoon.
I have too,
Alex Reynolds. But the ball spills out now, goes the way of Joey Ugle. Ugle gets a handball away. Railways player appeared to be held while not in possession. Play on's the call. Comes back towards the Railways player in Alex Newton. He cleverly keeps it in play, but it gives Rovers an opportunity through Dwayne Simpson. Gets a kick forward, picked up now by Ryan Letessia for Railways. Kicks it up towards half forward, looking up there for Jack Cocking. Railways, can they get a score on the board while they have it deep in their forward zone? Railways player plays on. Rovers quick to go towards the back of the goal square, and perhaps should have kicked it through, but Chris Scott does his best to keep the ball in play and goes now to the sanctuary of the boundary line, and the ball goes out of bounds, and there'll be a boundary throw in front of the Rovers coach's box. So 25 plays 22 in favour of the Blues, and with the early stages of this third term with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors.
Hello to John, Ron, Rachel and the team at Drennan O'Malley Motors, great supporters of local football. Joey Eagle caught high. He'll have a free kick. He probably also was amongst the better players for Rovers in the second quarter. The ball going forward now. Dwayne Neville takes the few of his marks this afternoon. He sends it inboard now, does Neville. Finds his player that Glenn and I have been impressed with, Alex Reynolds. There's the long blonde mullet. Reynolds with the green boots in the middle of the ground. He's got a bit of room on the Horde Road side of the ground. He decides to go straight down the middle. Goes the way of Jai Thurston now. He does well to keep it in front of him, Thurston. Gives it back to Reynolds. Reynolds quickly puts it onto his boot and finds Prosser.
Glenn Prosser with the ball backwards side of the square. He's a nice mover, is Prosser. He's a good size and uses the ball generally pretty well. He's been a hard worker again this afternoon. Goes across the ground and finds a teammate. That player is Josh Simpson. Josh Simpson needs to lift his rating. Gets the ball forward, looking there for Dwayne Neville. Finds Dwayne. Dwayne is tackled. Gets rid of the ball just in the nick of time. And Railways get the ball out of the danger zone just for a period. Picked up now by Josh Ugle, who just heard me. He told him to lift his rating, and he has. Gets a kick very quickly up there to Kyan Townsend. And Kyan has an opportunity from 45 degrees, 45 metres. It'll be a very difficult kick with the breeze as it is this afternoon. Goes by hand to Chris Scott. Chris Scott goes towards goal. Ball smothered off the boot. Comes bouncing back. Goes the way of Alex Newton, who gets rid of the ball just in the nick of time. Goes the way now of Peter Kimberley. He can't pick it up. Picked up now by Delane to Townsend. Ball spills. Picked up by Shaden Edwards. Edwards to Dow. Blues go forward again. Dow's kick goes up towards half forward, looking for Cocking. Jamie Gear leads the race for the ball. Jack Cocking sees the ball across the boundary line. And there'll be a boundary throw-in about 70 metres around from the right point post, the airport end of the ground. Broadcast box, Radio Mama broadcast box side of the ground. Here at Greenough Oval, overcast conditions, a little bit of rain, plenty of wind. And with about 12 minutes gone in this third term, with thanks to Drennan O'Malley Motors. Railways 3-7-25, lead Rovers 2 behind.
The time clock probably got a bit of water in it, Glenn, because it stopped working. The ball in front of our broadcast position goes the way now of Railways through Corey Clark. He's been good this afternoon, but straight down the throat of the Rovers defender, Joey Ugle at half-back. He sends it inboard now, finds Chris Scott. Chris Scott trying to be everywhere this afternoon. See what he can do. Chris Scott on the half-back line. Doesn't really kick it that well, but gets a bit of movement up forward. It's picked up now by Tazwell. He tries to soccer it forward. He's tackled in doing so, and it trickles over the boundary. So the ball about to be thrown in from our broadcast position for Radio Mama. This quarter brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. Friends are on Sunday tomorrow. Nicky DeFore and yours truly spinning the vinyl of all the great music you like to listen to, we like to listen to. Some laughs and guests along the way. The ball going forward now into the half-forward area for Railways. Gee, Joey Eagles working hard this afternoon. Glenn gets it out to this player. And
he's been good too, Bo Simpson. He does well every week.
He does. Bo Simpson comes forward and finds Prosser, so ditto for him. So they're the players that have been working hard for Rovers. But they can't get anything up into the half-forward area. They need more from this fella. That's Dwayne Neville. Goes to ground, is beaten, but it goes away of now of Simpson. The umpire was going to pay advantage, but we'll bring it back because there was no advantage. It goes away of Railways. Adamini. Adamini sends it straight down the throat of Simpson, a bit like tennis. Nadal to Federer, coming back now to Tazwell. Tazwell, the young ruckman for Rovers. Sends it down the wing just in front of our broadcast position. Up goes Simpson, looking for a push in the back. Misses all and sundry. The back of the pack, it's picked up by Adamini, a nice little chip pass. He gets it over to Cocking, and Cocking will receive a free kick.
So Jack Cocking has the ball on half-back, so he's a long way from goal. Gets a short pass forward, finds Antonio Priolo, centre wing, broadcast box side of the ground. Priolo looking for some movement upfield. He goes back now, big kick up towards Jesse Moore. He's got Tazwell to beat. Tazwell does well, slaps the ball away, and there'll be a boundary throw-in. So, lots of ball on this side of the ground this afternoon, which is good for the commentators. Not too good for the spectators on the other side of the ground. So, 25 plays 2. That's points, that is. And we've played 15 minutes in this third term. The premiership quarter, but interestingly, Railways haven't added to their tally in this first 15 minutes, nor have Rovers. And interesting to see that Railways kicked 5 goals last week, and they've kicked 3 goals this week, so it's been a bit of a drought although the conditions this day are far worse than they were last week, they haven't been able to get the score on the board. Whistle on play. Umpire Theo Bennett will come in and throw the ball up once more. So the ball is in the forward part of the ground for Railways, but can they get the score on the board while they've got it there? Picked up by Rovers' Glenn Prosser. He kicks it up towards centre wing. Picked up by Tom Rowe. Rowe under pressure, gets a kick away just in the nick of the time. Kicks it up along the boundary line, and there'll be a boundary throw-in once again, just where it was only 15 seconds ago. So the boundary umpire to throw the ball back into play. So a very, very low-scoring game and pretty tough conditions here at the moment. The rain isn't teeming down in any measure, but it's very slippery, it's very wet and very windy. The ball comes back into play. Jesse Moore wins the ball forward, goes back in to retrieve it. Comes out, goes the way of Reynolds, goes the way now of the player there in Ugle for Rovers to Townsend, feeds a handball out to Clay Azevedo, but Railways can rebound now as Matty Kimberley grabs it forward, looking there for Shaden Edwards. Edwards, can he pick it up? He cleverly slaps it over to the player there in Messina, but Messina is tackled, beautiful tackle put on Blake Messina there by Jamie Gear, and Jamie Gear will be rewarded with the free kick.
Jamie Gear, premiership player with the Demons. Comes over to Scott now. Scott kicks into the man on the mark. He changed his decision on what he's going to do. It's going to cost a goal maybe for the Demons as it goes back inside the forward 50, inside the goal square for Railways, and is, well, luckily for the Demons, it goes through for the minor score. So he's playing a good game today, Scott. He's an athlete of sorts. He can play both ends of the ground. He sends it down to our broadcast position. Going in on top of it is Neville. He's unable to collect it. The ball spills free. The umpire says, boys, no one can get per opportunity. I'll throw it up once again. This turn brought to you by Drennan O'Malley Motors. Free kick, though, has been found, and it will go the way of Jager Williams. Gee, don't know where he saw that one, but anyway, he's a bit closer than you or I. Glenn, the ball into the half-forward area. Up they go, goes over the top of a couple of players and finds the boundary once again. Glenn, there is a big crowd here this afternoon, which is interesting because the conditions aren't really the best for footy.
No, they certainly aren't, as we go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. Three-quarter time at the football at Mazzucchelli Oval, and Brigade, 6 goals, 10-46. Lead Chapman Valley, 4 goals, 5-29.
Good game.
So 2 goals, 2 scored by Brigades in that quarter, and the breeze would be certainly playing its part out there as well, I would think. But probably wouldn't be blowing up and down the ground like this one.
No.
Blowing across the ground because this one runs from east to west. That one goes from north to south. So it'll be interesting to get a score as soon as we can from the game up at Northampton. And Northampton, when we last heard, were doing pretty well. They were 3 goals up on Mullawar at
and just
half-time.
on that, Glenn, the breeze has not let up since the beginning of this game and has been a consistent 3 to 4 goals, blustery, favouring the airport end.
That's right, but no one's been able to make a great deal of use of it as the ball comes out from Rovers' defence, comes up along the ground again. Once again, the boundary umpire has certainly brought the ball back into play in almost that same spot on numerous occasions this afternoon. Time ticking by. It won't be a long quarter because there hasn't been a score by either, or 1 point by Railways in this whole term to this point. So it's pretty hard to kick a goal. And it's pretty hard to even score. Ball running free now. Rovers have an opportunity, and Chris Scott is tackled high, and Chris Scott will take the free kick. And Chris Scott, he certainly wasn't playing for that free kick. He was perhaps slipping over, and he got one high there from Alex Newton. So Chris Scott, who's worked hard this afternoon against overwhelming odds. There goes the kick from Chris. He gets the wind, and he tried to kick it 40 metres, but it went about 30 metres across the boundary line out of bounds. So Riley Zimmerman to bring the ball back in, the young man for the Blues. Riley Zimmerman, short pass, finds Antonio Priolo. Priolo liked his game this afternoon. He's worked really hard. Priolo goes with another short pass, looking there for Kimberley. It wasn't a catch. Umpire says play on. There was grass there as Tazewell sees the ball across the boundary line. And once again, in that very favourite spot, the boundary umpire will throw the ball back in. So it's very hard to get the ball forward in these conditions.
Rain a bit heavier now, Glenn.
Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard. Railways 3-8-26. Rovers are 2 behinds. Umpire is saying to the boundary umpire, bring the ball in and throw it in again because it didn't have enough height. Boundary umpires have certainly working hard this afternoon. Gets the ball in high this time. The wind grabs it. Jesse Moore appeared to be interfered with. Ball comes the way there of Reynolds. Rovers get it out towards Chris Scott, who tries to take them on. Lucky not to be caught in possession. Umpire said he didn't have prior opportunity, and umpire will throw the ball up on half forward as now the rain starts to come through, and the rain teeming down here at Greenough Oval now, so conditions are going to only deteriorate, one would think, as we head towards three-quarter time in our match of the day for Drennan O'Malley Modals, and Railways on target to get the 4 premiership points, and Rovers are going to battle, one would think, although they will have the breeze in the last quarter, but they haven't been able to give us anything that would suggest they would be able to outscore Railways in the final term. Once again, umpire Osborne has no option but to come forward and throw the ball up again. So time ticking by in this last quarter, and we don't get to play in weather conditions like this very often, as the ball's roved now by the player there in Mitchell Boyle. Boyle's ball is smothered off the boot, goes the way of a Rovers player who was tackled, didn't have prior opportunity. Good tackle put on the player there in Ugle, and the umpire will throw the ball up once more.
Yeah, rain continuing to fall, heavier here at Greenough Oval as we head toward the latter stages of the third term. Not really many inroads have been made in this particular term, with Rovers probably still have an opportunity to get back into this game as the ball goes forward on this occasion for the Demons and finds the boundary. So the rain quite heavy now here at Greenough Oval. As we've said, Glenn, a big crowd in attendance, people wanting to watch local footy, which is good to see. And the siren sounds to announce that it is three-quarter time here in our Drennan O'Malley game day. And at three-quarter time, it is Railways 3-8. They lead Rovers just 2 points. And you're listening to Radio Mama. We are the home of GNFL football.
This is
And at three-quarter time, Railways 3-8-26. Lead Rovers 2 behind. Railways, the second place side, playing the third place Rovers. And at this stage, it is a 24-point ball game in favour of the Railways side, who have led all day. The rain has let off just fractionally now as we get this final term underway, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton and GT Russell Chartered Accountants. The ball comes forward now, and Railways trying to squeeze a goal out in the early stages of this final term as we quickly go around the grounds with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. The latest score we have is from Nabarwar, and we see a scoreline where Brigade 6-10-46 lead Chapman Valley 4-5-29. Still waiting for an update from the score up at Northampton. As soon as we have one, we will bring it to you. And looking forward to that scoreline as soon as we get it. So the ball is in the forward 50 again for Railways. Can they get their fourth goal of the afternoon? Interestingly, last weekend, it was a very low-scoring game. No rain in that contest, and Railways kicked 5-11. Ball comes the way now of the Railways players who are working hard to get the ball in towards the goal square. Umpire Osborne will come over and throw the ball up. Interestingly, last week we saw Railways opponents Towns kick 4 behinds, and this afternoon Rovers, to this point, the early stages of the final term, have kicked 2 behinds. So interesting days at the footy here in the GNFL. Round 13, the mental health round, but a good healthy crowd here at the Greenock Oval this afternoon, expecting a good contest. It's been tight, hasn't been pretty, but it's certainly been entertaining. But it's Railways who look set to take the 4 premiership points, one would think. They have the ball in their forward 50. The breeze still strongly favouring the other end of the ground as Rovers player takes a good mark under pressure. So the Rovers defence wanting to get the ball on now. So Rovers, big kick. That's young Alex Johnson. Johnson gets it up the ground, looking for some run. Can Rovers run onto it? Rovers do now through Clay Azevedo. He slips over the crucial stage. Railways player is tackled. Umpire says play on. Ball running free out near the centre wing. Horwood roadside. Railways get the slipper into the boot. Slipper into the ball. Goes up forward. Goes up to way of another Railways player in Newton. He's tackled. Gets it out. Picked up by Rovers. And Rovers go forward. A big kick up towards half forward. Ball running free. But Kyle Watts, the veteran for Railways, takes the ball. Gets a handball away. Goes the way of Antonio Priolo. Priolo kicks it forward. Picked up now by Rovers' Glenn Prosser. He handballs to himself. Goes back in. In goes Matt Kimberley. He's tackled. Umpire says get off the ball and I'll throw the ball up. And Theo Bennett will throw the ball up on our side of the ground. And we'll see the ball forward.
Then just interesting while you're trying to see through the rain and what's happening here at Greenock Oval this afternoon. Claremont are easily doing the job on Subiaco down in the Waffle. Peel Thunder, they're in front, although Perth and Peel Thunder, a pretty close game. But South Fremantle are doing the job on East Fremantle. South Fremantle 6-6 are in front of East Fremantle 2-1.
Okay, and certainly a game that East Fremantle were expecting to do a little bit better in. I think South Fremantle have won the last 12 games against East Fremantle.
Form would think that East Fremantle in with a good shot today.
Yeah, you would think so. So the ball is to be brought back in. The boundary umpire to throw the ball in again. So the boundary umpires have had lots of throw-ins this afternoon. 4 minutes gone in this final quarter with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants on Drilling O'Malley Motors game day. Ball thrown back into play. Of course, the women are looking forward to playing their game after this game.
You're
at 4
umpiring,
o'clock.
aren't you, Glenn?
Thinking I'll put my hand up to do that. Probably not. The ball comes the way now of young Blake Bunter. He feeds it out to his teammate there in Mitchell Boyle. Boyle sees the ball slip through his hands. Blake Bunter goes back in to retrieve it. And once again, the umpire's letting it flow, which is a good thing in a day like today. Ball picked up now by Maddie Kimberley. Kimberley kicks the ball forward, but Jamie Gear reads the ball best. Goes back in, puts it on his accustomed left boot. Kicks it out wide, looking out there for Dwayne Neville. Doubt if Dwayne's had a kick this afternoon. Ball goes forward again, and the ball will be thrown up. Picked up now by Railways. Railways soccer the ball forward. Blake Bunter slaps the ball forward. He's got Chris Scott to beat. Chris Scott sees the ball towards the boundary line. And there'll be a boundary throw-in front of the Rovers Football Club, which is full of people at the moment because no one is standing outside because they don't want to get drowned.
It is an interesting scoreline. It is 3-8 plays 2 points in favour of the Blues here this afternoon. And with that even low scoreline, the scoring end, I think, has been the end against the Breeze Glen. The ball coming in now from in front of the Rovers Club room. You can hear that wind blowing from the northwest as the state begins to get covered with rain here in Western Australia. The ball in the middle now, going the way of Kimberley. He's been good this afternoon. Goes the way now of Shaden Edwards. He kicks it straight up into the air. The ball is very heavy. It bounces in front of the goals. Goes the way now of Jack Cocking. He spins around on a 50-cent piece, puts it inside the corridor. Players diving on top of it, but eventually it goes the way. I think it's Kimberley. Let's have a look who it was, but Railways have scored again, and that is an important goal. It was actually Blake Bunter, I think, that got that, was it?
No, see where they're coming out.
Didn't have a helmet.
A young bloke. Yeah. Might be a Corey Clark.
Corey Clark again, maybe?
Just wait.
I think it's a player coming back here.
It is Blake Messina, you're right, I think.
Yeah.
Or maybe it's Keezer, is it?
No, that's Blake Messina with his hands on his...
so Blake Messina did kick the goal.
Okay, so Blake Messina has kicked the goal for Railways. Opportunist goal off the pack, through the mud and straight through the middle. So Railways had a handy lead in the context of this game now, Glenn. That's 4-8. And Rovers are yet to open their goal account. They are only just the 2 single points.
Yeah, interestingly, Peter, I can tell you each minute of the goals scored. There was 1 goal kicked in the first quarter. Jack Cocking kicked that at the 20-minute mark. Then there was 2 goals in the second term, no goals in the third term, and Blake Messina kicked the first goal of Railways' fourth term, and this time Blake Messina's caught in possession, so the free kick will go the way of Bo Simpson. So Bo Simpson in defence. He's worked really hard this afternoon, as he does each time he plays. Gets it up the ground, but Aaron Dow stands his ground, and Aaron Dow takes a very good mark in these conditions on his chest. So Aaron Dow's made for wet weather football. Gets the ball forward and finds the hard-working player there in Andrew Messina. Not Andrew, his cousin in Blake. Blake Messina gets the ball forward and goes it up the ground. And whistle on play. Umpire says, "You're caught in possession, son," and gets the free kick to the player in Glenn Prosser for Rovers. So Rovers bring the ball up along centre wing. Blake Taswell's there, couldn't mark the ball. Puts the ball out in front of him. Whistle on play. He's caught in possession. Good tackle put on Taswell by Jesse Moore. So Jesse Moore will take the free kick on centre wing in front of the Railways coaching box. Matthew Powell and John Reynolds are in charge of Railways in 2022. There goes the kick forward by Jesse Moore. Goes very close to the boundary line.
Glenn, have you heard anything from Northampton at this stage?
No, I am.
Well, we've got something unofficial that at 3/4 time Northampton led by some 58 points. But that is unofficial.
So, yeah, as soon as we get those scores confirmed, but it would appear that Northampton were on the way to do something pretty good because they were leading by about 3 goals at half-time. Ball comes back into play. Goes the way there of Joey Ugle. Feeds a handball out. Gets Benny Saunders in with a chance. Saunders feeds a handball out to Dow. Dow goes by hand to Williams. Jager Williams throws it on his boot. Goes out wide looking for Jesse Adamini, who was really good, particularly in the first quarter and second. Adamini plays on quickly and he finds a teammate out there in Jack Cocking. Cocking couldn't put a handle on it, and we can find that Rovers rebound out of defence. Rovers get it up towards half forward. Ball running free. Picked up now by the Railways player, or socket forward by that player in Aaron Dow. Picked up by Mitchell Boyle. He feeds a handball out towards Antonio Priolo. Priolo gets it forward, looking there for Rowe. Ball bounces away from him. Picked up by Denham Ranger for Rovers. Rovers go forward, but it's backed up there by Kyle Watts. He feeds a handball out towards Williams. Back towards Rowe. And it goes forward, and in fact it was Williams, now it's Rowe. Tom Rowe has it, gets it up towards centre wing, looking there for Jesse Moore. Moore can't pick it up, he does eventually. Aaron Dow, a lot to like about his game this afternoon, gets in the way of Shaden Edwards, and Edwards marks.
Yeah, Edwards sends it inboard now, easily finds the chest of Newton. Newton being a good inclusion for Railways this season. He sends it further afield. Not a good kick. Goes straight to the Rovers defender. He's unable to mark. The ball goes to ground. Players diving on top of it. Just inside the forward 50 for Railways. It's getting pretty scrappy now, as you'd expect. Heavy conditions here at Greenock Oval at this stage of the game this afternoon. The ball coming out of a pack. Bit of a rugby scrum there, Glenn, as it's moved, as the ball moved forward. But the umpire eventually blows the whistle. Umpire Bennett, that is. He'll throw it up just outside or just on the forward 50 for Railways.
Middle stages of this final term with thanks to GT Russell Chartered Accountants on Drilling O'Malley Motors game day. And Railways can regroup. If Alex Newton picks it up, he does. Goes by hand to Ben Saunders. Saunders goes by hand to a teammate there in Kimberley. It's Peter to Matthew. Matthew Kimberley sends it forward. Looking there for Jesse Adamini. Ball comes forward. Once again, Rovers stand their ground, and Chris Scott has done a power of work in the last couple of weeks for Rovers in defence. There goes his kick. Comes out towards the broadcast box side of the ground, looking there for Blake Taswell, off hands, and once again another boundary throw-in. So time ticking by. Probably can't tick by quick enough for the players this afternoon as the rain has come down. The rain has stopped now, but it certainly did come down for a period. And 11 minutes gone, and on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Railways are 4-8-32, Rovers are 2 behind.
The ball is in the vicinity of that player in Youghal, but he only gets it as far as Boyle. Boyle for Railways gets it to a teammate, quickly puts it onto his boot into the half-forward area. Up goes Blake Bunter. He can't take the mark. The ball spills free, goes way of Boyle again. He does it cleverly, sends it forward. It's picked up by Kimberley. A nice little chip kick into the half-forward area. Goes away now of Adamini. Adamini in turn gives it back to a teammate, puts it onto his boot. The ball's pretty heavy, doesn't go too far. It trickles along the boundary. Railways able to keep it in. Just in front of Rovers club rooms now. They send it inboard. Goes the way of the player there in Peter Kimberley. Kimberley is thwarted, beaten his attempt there, going back the way of the Rovers defender, who kicks out of defence but only finds Saunders just outside the centre square.
And Owen Delaney is the player who's marked the ball. And Owen Delaney just come onto the ground, and Owen Delaney will shoot towards goal from 40 metres out. The rain has stopped. Still very slippery underfoot. Can Railways get their 5th goal of the afternoon? Owen Delaney, 45 metres out, 50 metres over the line now, plays on. The ball will drop short. Railways player there is cocking, couldn't put a handle on it. Ball comes to ground. Jamie Gear is that Rovers player. Ball is held to him. Umpire said he had no prior opportunity. So umpire Osborne will throw the ball up once again. Time ticking by in this final term. A very special day. Think Mental Health Round, with thanks to the GNFL, and it's Think Mental Health Round across all regions of WA this weekend and all football leagues, all those affiliated with the WA Country Footy League. As the player there for Rovers, can he slap the ball forward? He does so now. Can he pick it up? Oh, that's a free kick. It'll go the way of Rovers. And the Rovers player worked hard there. That's young Jacob Troy. So Jacob Troy gets the free kick, but he kicks the ball straight back towards Railways player and Jesse Moore. Moore cleverly picks it up. Beautiful kick in these conditions. Up towards the teeth of goal. But once again, Jamie Gears there for Rovers. Kicks the ball back. Looking there for Denham Ranger. Picked up now by Joshua Simpson. Joshua Simpson lucky not to be caught in possession. Ball spills. Picked up by Tom Rowe for Railways. He kicks it up towards half forward. But once again, Bo Simpson's there for Rovers and gets the ball out to the outer side, looking there for Jai Thurston.
Mitchell Boyle does the better, though, and handballs to a teammate along the Horwood Road side of the ground. The ball goes toward the boundary and trickles out. So time ticking away in the final term of this particular game, and it is going to be, you'd think, a Railways win, Glenn. And I'm thinking if Railways do win today, Rovers will probably slip to 4th position, with Northampton possibly having a big win over Mullawall.
They will, because three-quarter time scores have come in with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton. At three-quarter time, Northampton 7-3-76, lead Mullawall 2-8-20. So, yeah, a 56-point margin. So a very handy lead there for Northampton at Mullawall. The
ball coming in now, and a lot of packs developing, as you'd expect. Pretty heavy underfoot, and also the ball would be pretty heavy. Be a little like a medicine ball at this stage of the game with the amount of rain that has fallen since half-time. The Ball now is with Rovers on the half-back flank. Going down the wing, can they manufacture a goal? They haven't been able to do so all game, even with a breeze at their back. But at this stage, the breeze has slightly dropped, but still about 2 to 3 goals favouring the airport end. The ball on the forward side of the ground hasn't been over there much today. Going back the way of Kimberley, he's had a lot of the ball. He sends it inboard, but it is only a Rovers player in Scott who collects it. He's probably been best on ground for Rovers over 4 quarters in this game. He sends it inboard. He finds a teammate who's equal to the task, who runs on. That player is Ugle. Ugle sends it out to a teammate who is unlucky, can't collect the ball. The ball goes away now of Criddle. Criddle sends it down the corridor. He's looking for support there from Thurston. Thurston is pushed out of it, and it's picked up now by the veteran for the Railway side, and that's Kyle Watts. Kyle sends it to the other side of the centre square, but it's brought back in. Rovers have it. Delane, he marks inside the square, wearing the green boots. He quickly finds a player in the half-forward area to run onto it. That player is working hard on this occasion in Leon Dibben. He runs onto the ball but loses possession, going back the way of Adamini now. Adamini sends it forward, but there's Prosser again, and he too has picked up kicks this afternoon, but they all haven't been effective, Glenn.
Glenn Prosser kicks the ball up towards full forward. Can Rovers get a quick goal and get their first major of the afternoon as time's starting to run out for the Demons? Ball comes forward, picked up now by Roland Drummond, but he misses the ball. Goes back the way of Railways. Kimberley's there, feeds it out, finds Jager Williams. Williams goes backwards, goes the way of Mitchell Boyle. He goes towards the Sanctuary cleverly in defence, looking there for Riley Zimmerman, but a force behind. And on the Chapman Road Dental Clinic scoreboard, Rovers go to 3 behinds. They trail Railways, 4 goals, 8-32. Ball is on the back pocket. Goes the way of the Railways player there in Tom and Rowe. Rowe goes the way now of Ben Saunders. So Ben Saunders on half-back, Horde Road side of the ground, as the Railways side move towards the city end of the ground. Railways still have the ball. Goes back towards the Railways player, who gets it forward now. Gets it up towards centre wing. Railways still in possession. Ball comes out. Comes the way of Owen Delaney, goes the way of Shaden Edwards. Edwards feeds a handball out to the player there in Aaron Dow. Dow gets it up and finds Alex Newton, so Railways building now. Alex Newton still 65 metres from goal. Goes with a short pass, finds Jack Cocking. Jack Cocking is 50 metres from goal. Kicks in towards Chris Scott. Chris Scott, good smother. Chris Scott goes back in and retrieves the ball. Very close to the boundary line. Chris Scott did a power of work there and sees the ball across the boundary line. And another opportunity for the boundary umpire to throw the ball back into play. 17.5 minutes gone in this final term, with thanks to GT Russell, Chartered Accountants, and the Railways are going to pick up 4 very valuable premiership points this afternoon.
Yeah, it's not a high-scoring game by anyone's standards, Glenn. 4 goals, 8 plays, 3 points. Rovers have not scored a goal. I can't remember the last time that the Demons would not have scored a goal in a match. I'm sure if Victor Tanti wasn't gallivanting around Europe, he'd be able to tell us, Glenn. The ball back in the middle now. Goes away of Railways. Have got control through Saunders, or have they? Saunders quickly set upon. The ball spills free. He works hard to go through the middle. Puts it onto his boot into the full forward area. He's looking for support up there. Running onto it is a Railways custodian, but it is the Rovers opposite number who collects it, puts it onto his boot, sends it toward our broadcast position. The ball goes over the boundary right in front of the dugout, where Coach Ian Comben will be pondering where his Demons go from here.
Yeah, they've got a big game next weekend against Brigades, so that'll be a big contest, but Ian is hoping to have about 6 inclusions into the Rovers lineup for next week's big clash, and that'll be our Drennan O'Malley Motors game day from Greenock Oval next weekend, with the topside Brigades up against Rovers. And it'll be a very important game. Rovers, of course, got to keep winning to keep their finals prospects alive. And they haven't had a win for a couple of weeks. Their last win was against Northampton just prior to Country Week. Ball to be thrown up again. And the umpires have been kept busy this afternoon in these weather conditions. Lots of ball ups along the way. Lots of packs around the ball. Ball comes forward and... So we see the ball come forward now, ball running free, and the ball goes towards the boundary line, or very close to about the full there. The umpire didn't see that. I think the field umpire did, and he's going to see it the way I saw it. And
this game may finish before the big shower that's about to come over the oval once again, Glenn, but we'll see what happens there, but I can hear it on the roof as I speak.
Yeah, it's very interesting bit of statistics being sent to us by James Gardner. He said, Glenn, in the last 8 quarters against Rovers, there's only been some 8 points scored against Railways. So that wouldn't happen very often either, would it? I can't remember such low-scoring games. A big low-scoring game last week. It was 4 points to Towns, to Railways 5-11, and this week it's Rovers 4 behinds to Railways 4 goals 8. The weather conditions today are far worse than they were last week at the recreation ground, though, it must be said.
So the ball is with Shaden Edwards now. He's on the Hallwood Road side of the ground. Rain, as I said, beginning to fall as time runs out. Certainly for the Demons, that's for sure. Railways, they've got to win out of this game this afternoon. Greenock Oval, the ball going toward the boundary in front of the Rovers club room. So, what other games next weekend, Glenn?
So, interesting games they are too. Next weekend, as I mentioned, we'll be here at Greenock Oval. Rovers will be taking on Brigades. The other game next Saturday, Towns take on Northampton. That's at WA Country Builders Stadium. And the Sunday game, Mullawar host Chapman Valley up at Mullawar Oval. So 3 big games. As we quickly go around the grounds, with thanks to the City of Greater Geraldton, Brigades have had a good win out at Chapman Valley. Brigades 10-11-71 have defeated Chapman Valley 5-5-35. So a good win there to Brigades, who stay at the top of the premiership table with the win today against Chapman Valley. So at the moment, Brigades on top and Railways are second. There's no one going to compete there, and they're doing it pretty well. And Rovers, they remain on 24 points, and now Northampton have also got 24 points. So Chapman Valley still a game and percentage outside the 4. As we see Railways go forward again through Blake Bunter. Gets it up towards Cocking, but there is the siren. Full time at the football. A very, very quick game, this one. There wasn't a lot of time on because there wasn't a lot of goals scored. And 21 minutes gone in this final term, plus a little bit of time on. And we can tell you that Railways 4 goals 8-32. Railways 4 goals 8-32 have defeated Rovers 4 behind. So Rovers didn't get a goal, and that wouldn't have happened too often in the Rovers history, I would not think. But a tough day at the office for the Rovers club, and a tough day at the office for Railways, but Railways got the valuable 4 premiership points. So in the end, it was a 28-point margin. So Rovers have been following all day, or behind the 8 ball all day. Railways have led throughout. So it has been a 28-point win to Railways. Railways 4-8-32. Rovers 4 behinds. And you're tuned to Radio Mama, the home of GNFL football.